So, Sharell, we've been talking about planning mission trips and letting the youth really take the reins on planning a trip, which is kind of amazing because it gives them the opportunity for leadership. Can you talk about financial planning for mission trips and for mission experiences? What are some things to consider, and can the youth play a role in some of that?
So yeah, well, absolutely think youth can play a role in that, and there's a way that they can be engaged and involved in that. But in terms of financial planning, I think a huge part of this is identifying how much of the church budget actually goes to this. So going in what you have to work with, because a lot of that will shape even what you're able to do. If you've got a budget of $1,000, you're not taking 40 kids across the country on a week-long trip. So understanding that part, I think, is important. And then even as I said before, when you're engaging the youth, I think you can do that in a range of ways, considering whether you want a one-time experience, one-time project. Are you looking for a project that is going to remove them from their environment, or are you looking for projects to do for them in their kind of local areas? Because they each have a different purpose and different reason. And so identifying what type of trip you're looking for, whether you're looking for 5 different mission experiences throughout the year or that one big time trip, I think is a huge part of what you need to know financial planning wise going in. Um, Budgeting and kind of having a contingency for the unexpected, so that if you once you know your budget, you can't plan a trip that maxes that budget out, right? You need like a 15% contingency for some things that are unforeseen, for the fact that you might be planning to take 15 kids and 20 sign up, like that kind of stuff, so that when you give yourself some wiggle room in the financial planning, nothing really can like kind of blow the trip up. And one of the things that I think is really important when it comes to financial planning is engaging the kids in some portion of that, so that whether that's them understanding what the budget is, and then maybe you give them some different options about how the money can be allocated and let them choose projects that are meaningful to them. Or maybe it's you saying, hey, so this is what we want to do, but we're $500 short. What are some ways in which we as the youth, or you as the youth, can raise money, and your adults and your youth leaders can support you in that? So it's another way to empower them. It's another way to engage them. And I think ultimately it teaches even that kind of next level stewardship, right? So stewardship happens in a range of ways, but one of the definite ways we have stewardship and we show stewardship within the church is through financial giving. And so this empowers them to do that in that way. You can talk to them and use this as if you're a tithing church, then this is a tithing conversation. If you're a pledging church, then this is a pledging conversation. And even larger than that, in just general life, financial planning is you have to be savvy at it, you have to be knowledgeable about it. And so this is an opportunity to teach them just a general life skill in that way too. So clearly I'm a proponent of engaging youth in every aspect of planning a mission trip. But and I think for the youth leader, being aware of your budget, knowing how the budget changes from kind of month to month, starting the conversations early, so that if you want to plan a trip for 2021, you should already be well into the planning for that. You really want to give yourself a good timeline. You want to give yourself a good year, if not more, depending on the size of the trip and how big it is in that way. I think a good thing to do when financial planning for the trip or for a trip is thinking of some way, shape, or form that while on this trip or in the midst of this trip, kids can make an impact through the financial planning. And so what I mean by that is, for instance, I took a group of kids to it's a homeless shelter that is underneath our city hall. And a part of what we did was they went there and they actually staffed the shelter. But before we got there, there were ways in which we said, this is how much money we're going to spend on this. What kind of long-term impact can you have? So that what that looked like for them was a combination of things, them donating money to kind of raise our budget, but then also we took them to local stores and they bought items that the shelter needed. They were going to stay there when we left. And that can be done in a bunch of different ways. If you're going and you're volunteering at, there's a UCC organization down in Biloxi, Mississippi called Back Bay Mission. Back Bay is incredible and has a wonderful kind of program set up there, a part of which is the day center. And the day center constantly needs items. They do everything from showers to resume building or helping with resumes, all of those different things. So that there's a way when you get there, you can say, now that we see where we are, now that you see how our work and our mission is impacting these people, this is what you're leaving behind. So that not just are you helping for this, 5 to 6 hours or this day or this week that you're here, but we left something behind that's going to keep that good work going. I think is a good part of financial planning for that.
And it helps youth have a longer perspective, right? This isn't just for the week I'm here. This is so people can continue to flourish beyond this short period of time in which I'm there. And, actually, it's not all about my being there. It's about us
Right.
providing a service and then a service that will continue past the time we get home.
It forces them to see these people that they're doing mission work with as actual people. They
Right.
don't just exist while I'm here, but they're here all the time and they need help all the time. So that it's one of those ways that, we're expanding their worldview. We're kind of blowing it up for them and helping them put it back together in a more comprehensive way.
I love that. Thanks.